The Haas IndyCar Series took a week off after a thrilling race from Riverside International Raceway. We come back to a high-speed oval, but the shortest oval on the circuit, and a boost in the ratings for these drivers as well as the run to the Indy 250 continues on. This is a very important race for the team owners, as the top 10 teams will be awarded a extra car for the Indianapolis 250 to run. And of course, we're now in the second quarter of the season already. Only 12 races left to go until we crown a champion in September. And each of these races means a lot towards the championship. It's great to be back here, though, at Richmond Raceway, one of our favorite racetracks on the Haas IndyCar Series circuit, for the Smithfield Virginia 100K. 83 laps around the action track here in the capital of Virginia. This is going to be a fun one here. The fifth race of the 2026 Haas IndyCar Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Richmond Raceway here for the fifth race of the season in the 2026 Haas IndyCar Series. And we've already had four exciting races so far, but three in particular that have been very exciting. Our opener at Auto Club saw Thomas Troxel go to victory lane, and a race that saw multiple lead changes. Luna Lona got the win at Coda. Phoenix was all over the place and saw John Andrews go to victory lane. And then our last race at Riverside was won by Lewis Bishop. Only two different teams have won races so far this season. That's GRT Team Williams, Andrew Williams' team, and then BK Industries, Blaine Keys' organization. None of the other teams have gone to victory lane yet this season. We'll have to see how it ends up shaking out in this race, if that streak continues or not. Journal Inside Matt Tuck for the call of this race. And how about who we got on the front row for this one? Two-time Indy 250 champion Nicholas Samedeo, and our winner of the opener of the season, Thomas Troxel, on the front row. But of course, you're focused on the team standings as well. You're one of these team owners here in the Haas IndyCar Series. You'll want to get a spot in the Indy 250, another car in the Indianapolis 250. For your drivers, Logan Williams, Braden Perez, they start on the outside lane. What are the tips you're giving them going into this race, knowing how fast-paced this racetrack is? About 17 laps to go around here at the Richmond Raceway.
Yeah, I think it'll be an exciting one here. The racing is obviously very fast-paced here, and it'll be a lot on the line too, because we definitely want to secure that extra car for the Indy 250. Because if we do, we got can't let too much out of the bag, but something we want to do with that car. But it'll be fun here. The boys have had a kind of up and down, hot and cold start to the year, but I think this is the type of track that we can get course corrected on and get back on track here.
Of course, the way it's going to work for those Indy 250 only rides, we'll have our 10 teams. We'll do sign-ups later on. It'll be sign-ups, combined sign-ups of the Indy 250 only rides and the Freedom 50, which Caleb will be running back this year. There'll be 25 slots. 25? Yeah, I think 25 slots open for all of that, so we're excited to see how that ends up shaking out. And of course, those 10 guys who get the Indy 250 only rides, we're going to do a draft for those drivers based on the team standings. So whoever's going to be the points leader, they're going to be the first pick of those 10 drivers that'll be in the poll for the Indianapolis 250 only ride. So it's going to be a lot of fun once we get to that. Stay tuned in the Discord for when the driver signups are going to be for the Indy 250. But focus back to this race here at Richmond. A lot of fun here at Richmond Raceway. We always see some of our best races in the Haas IndyCar Series here at this racetrack. And if you remember Phoenix, it's not going to quite be to that level, but this is one of those racetracks where we get some very good racing, get a lot of passing here. But with these ratings, we had a second ratings boost just a couple weeks ago, so now we're in our second session of the ratings, so these guys are going to be spread out a little bit more in certain areas. We could very well see, going through these next four races, certain drivers really dominate compared to others, and this racetrack may show who's going to be good as the rest of the season goes along. Here's how they line up in the points. Here's who's been good so far. Luna Lona, 2023 champion. 2-point lead on Thomas Troxel. Andrew Miller is 3 points behind. How about Andrew Miller? If he had won last time out at Riverside, he'd be the points leader. Bruno Diacomo is 16 points behind. Our last winner, Lewis Bishop, got that race victory at Riverside, 18 points behind. And you got Charlie Davenport, 22 behind. Carson Miller, 36 behind. Angel Olvera, And Zachary Fitzwater tied for 8th, 38 points behind, with Marcus Glitch 40 points behind. You see Carson Miller starting in 3rd, Thomas Troxel there, who's only 2 points behind, starting 2nd. They've both consistently been up front in a lot of these races. Bruno Diacomo has actually finished top 10 every race so far this season. Charlie Davenport had a good start to the season, had a bad run, and misfortune at Riverside that took him out of contention there. He starts deep in the field in this one, but 83 laps, a cycle of pit stops. We're looking about late 50s, early 60s in terms of the lap time for when these guys will come down for fuel and tires. Tire conservation will also be a bit of a key today. We're going to have a little bit of fall off in this race today. Should be fascinating to see how that ends up shaking out. So qualifying in the Discord last night, you saw Nicholas Sambadio win the pole, so that's a bonus point towards the championship for him. It's not been a good season for Nicholas and Dutch Atlantis Racing. As a matter of fact, that team sits last in the owner standings right now. Alongside him, Thomas Troxel there in the number 23 for GRT Team Williams. Then you got Carson Miller and BB Ruiz making up row number 2. Last time out, we saw Lewis Bishop get that win over Andrew Miller. Thrilling finish there. He's alongside Aaron Abel. Avery Alford alongside Brad Stover in row number 4. Then Max Anderson to the inside of Justin Zeidel in row number 5. You got Marcus Glitch and Brendan Wilmington there in row number 6. You got Zachary Fitzwater and Logan Williams in row 7. Luna Lona and the 81 machine of... Who is it again? The 40 machine, not the 81 machine. The 40 machine of Angel Olvera. I'm getting it. I've been a week off. I forgot who's in what car. Dylan Matthews in the 39 alongside Brain Perez. Then you got Jay Knapp to the inside of John Andrews in the 48 machine. And you got the number 8 of Bradley Bradshaw to the inside of Charlie Davenport. You got Tanner Parton, Andrew Miller, and then Bruno Diacomo in the back row with Angel Gutierrez. Should be a lot of fun here today, seeing who gets this race victory. Matt, gonna give it over to you. Who do you think's gonna get this Smithfield Virginia 100K race victory here today at the Richmond Raceway?
Oh, I think we're gonna need a veteran to get it done here, and I think you're gonna need somebody with some short track prowess here. Give me Aaron Abel starting there on the outside of row number 3. I think he's going to have a really strong shot at getting a victory here today.
We'll have to see if that ends up being the case, starting in the 6th position here today. If you've got a good enough car and got a good enough driver, you have an opportunity to win from any position. So let's see how it all goes down here. 83 laps here from Richmond Raceway. And of course, Nicholas Sambadio going to be leading us off to the green flag, trying to get his team owner a 3rd ride in the Indianapolis 250 and have a 3rd or 2nd teammate in that race. Of course, he's a 2-time Indy 250 champion. Has not won it, though, in 6 years. Won it last in 2020, and I know he's definitely excited about returning to Indianapolis. All these drivers are excited about returning to Indianapolis, but keep in mind, there will be 3 drivers who fail to qualify for that race, as it always is. So going to be interesting once we get down to it here in less than 2 months when we have Indy 250 week here on the channel. But here at the end of March, we got a great oval race to show you here today. The Virginia 100K, always a lot of fun here for 83 laps around the action track. 3/4 of a mile, the shortest track on the schedule. Gonna be a lot of fun as we're green flag racing with Nicholas Sambadio and Thomas Troxel on the front row here at Richmond. Sambadio going to lead lap number 1. Another bonus point towards the championship for him. Here comes Lewis Bishop, that inside lane. Clearly with the advantage at the start of this race. Thomas Troxel not able to get down to that inside yet. He continues to fall back. His teammates already gotten around him. Carson Miller's had an excellent season here. 7th in the standings. He's got 2 top 5s on the year. Trying to close into the gearbox of Nicholas Sambadio. Here comes Avery Alford looking to take 3rd away. It's the best run we've seen out of Alford all season. He is all the way back 25th in the standings for Hairgel Motorsports, but a good run for him so far. Here comes Max Anderson. He's in the top 5. This team also trying to get in the Indy 250 with a 3rd driver. As for the race lead, there goes Carson Miller to the inside of Nicholas Sambadio for the top position here on lap 4.
Yeah, and he's just going to dispatch the Sambadio kind of quickly here. And now we'll see what Sam Medillo, if he's got a crossover in him, is going to try and rip that yellow line and get a little extra grip there on that apron pavement. Can't do anything for the moment here, but this is a great run for Sam Medillo. I think the best run we've really seen of him on the channel all season, and is a good sign heading into the Indy 250, and I think this is a car that could contend for his third Indy 250 win. But also Avery Alford and Max Anderson putting in great days here, and Max Anderson's got a lot on his plate here to help Nathan Stapleton get that third car in the Indy 250, and he displaces Alford and is moving his way on through the front. And quick shot to Dylan Matthews, started kind of deep in the field, and she's already into the top 10, moving up very quickly here.
Yeah, that inside lane clearly had the advantage. I mean, look at Troxel. He continues to slide in the 23 as pretty much everyone on that inside lane's gotten around him. You picked Aaron Abel. He also had the same thing go with him. And same with the MAL racing cars of B.B. Ruiz and Brad Stover. Those guys on the outside lane have kind of fallen to the back of the field right here. For Sprain Perez, Logan Williams, I know you do not want to see that so early on in this race, but both of those guys struggling deep in the field as some three-wide action here. Andrew Miller and B.B. Ruiz with contact down the backstretch. Somehow they keep it from becoming a huge accident. That was very close right there as they were three wide off the exit of the corner.
Oh, yeah, three wide. Kind of saw that recently here. In Wawa Cup last weekend. You don't want to be going 2 weekends ago now, but you don't want to be going three wide in some of these spots here. But here comes Matthews moving her way to the front of the field, looking really strong. And we talk about a team that struggled last year, most notably in the Indy 250. Evans Ross Racing looking on the better track heading into the month of May here. But Luna Lona's following along too as those BKI cars look really strong early. And Bradley Bradshaw, I was talking about Matthews coming deep in the field, but I think Bradshaw started
outside
row
the top
12. Yeah, great run for Bradshaw here. Just flying his way up through the field. And it's the best run we've seen out of him, I think, since he was driving for me in the Ferraris a few years ago.
Well, he has been runner-up in the Indy 250 a couple of times, and I know that's a focus on his part in trying to get a good run going into that race with Vision Motorsports. These guys are going to have different numbers and schemes by the time we get into Indianapolis. We're going to update a couple of these guys going into the big race here, and of course all these guys going to get, or at least 10 of these guys going to get that extra car, so we'll have some fresh schemes on the grid once we get to Indy 250 qualifying coming up here. Very excited for all of that. How about Angel Gutierrez, though? How about Vision Motorsports as a whole? And this is a team that's right on the bubble of getting that third car in the owner's standings, and both of their cars in the top 10 right now. And Angel Gutierrez started dead last for this race. He's all the way up to now be the 7th position. Jay Knapp with a great run as well in the double zero. And then you got Phoenix winner John Andrews there inside the top 10. Max Anderson fell back to 10th in the 97 machine. There's Brain Perez trying to move his way through the field. Logan Williams still struggling in this one. He won the Cup race here last year in August, and he has not found a good rhythm yet. And Thomas Troxel started outside pole. He's all the way to the back of the field right now. So definitely a very unique race so far as Bradley Bradshaw takes third away from Luna Lona. And then you got Marcus Glitch trying to make a move as well in the 17. A lot of shuffling from third on back, but Carson Miller and Nicholas Samadeo have been 1-2 in some capacity this entire race so far. And how about this 04 in Durrani Racing? Carson Miller looking very strong here in the IndyCar Series here in 2026.
Yeah, Carson Miller looking really good here. He looks like a title threat. I know he's kind of a little behind the 8 ball as far as the points go here. Comes into the race 7th in the points, I do believe you had said in the pre-race here. But he's only 36 back, and we talk about it all the time in the IndyCar Series. You can kind of make up a lot of points really quickly. You know, Lewis Bishop last week jumped 10 positions into the title fight here, or well into the title fight here. He's now 5th in the points, not having a great run right now. Those GRT Team Williams cars struggling. I mean, there's not a GRT-powered car having a good day right now, so that's a little concerning. Definitely not what we want to see heading into the month of May here, but got to give a tip of the cap to Ryan Durrani. He won the truck championship with Matthew Huber. Both of his cars in Wawa Cup, you know, they're not been amazing, but they're not back markers. You know, they're solid midfield runners. He's been unbelievable in the Wawa National Series. And I got nothing else to say there, and his guy's showing out here. So Ryan Durrani having he's having a heck of a 12 months here on the channel. I got to give him his props.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty good stuff. Of course, with the IndyCar Series, it's a matter of just picking a driver that you think is going to do well. No owners ratings here in the Haas IndyCar Series, but it's worked out very well for him with Carson Miller at least. Just as I know, his other driver hasn't had as much success up to this point in the season. Dylan Matthews making a move there on Marcus Glitch. That is for the 5th position right there. Great run for Matthews, and she's had a pretty solid run this season. 15th in the standings, has a top 10, and I know that Indianapolis is definitely a big date for these guys because they completely missed out last year when it was Avery Alford and Dylan Matthews. So I know Echo Evans Ross is looking to have both of their drivers and hopefully all 3 of their drivers in this year's Indianapolis 250. Trying to get that 3rd ride for the Indy 250. We'll see if that ends up coming into fruition. How about BK Industries and Blaine Keys and John Anders and Luna Lona? They've done an excellent job so far this season, and definitely a bit surprised by that as well, based off of things going on the back end, but they've had a great run so far. Here comes Bradley Bradshaw to the inside of Nicholas Samadillo, and this 33 machine starting to lose some ground. He's down to 4th, and here we go for 2nd as Bradshaw goes to the inside of Luna Lona. That's exactly what Carson Miller wants to see. Nicholas Samadillo unable to hold on to that position for now, but he's going to get back around Luna Lona. Here comes Angel Gutierrez in the 1 machine. Got John Anders, Marcus Glitch, Dylan Matthews looking to close in as well. Alfred now in the top 10. There's a lot of shuffling going on throughout the entire racetrack right now. But there's certain drivers who are continuously struggling. Zachary Fitzwater, Thomas Troxel, Logan Williams, Justin Zidell, they're all at the back of the field. They have not been able to move up in this race at all. We'll have to see how the cycle of pit stops ends up playing out for them. Maybe they can play a little strategy here, but we're expecting those cycles to begin a little bit later on, around lap 55 and the lap 60. Around that range is when we'd anticipate that cycle beginning.
Definitely, and I think there's a lot of things to really like here. Here's some of these front runners, and there's a lot of things to not like if you are some of the midfield and the back runners. I mean, I know I mentioned the 4 GRT powered cars, but there's a couple other drivers back there. Andrew Miller, that's not kind of what you want to see. You don't want to be back there. Zachary Fitzwater, that is rough. That is not where you want to be, and it's always hard to, draw parallels to will Richmond speed translate to Indianapolis? Yes, no, maybe so. But when you now have the ratings in effect, I think you can maybe start to draw a little bit more, not directly, but there's some things here that you see at Richmond on an oval. Now in a ratings era this series, as Angel Gutierrez and Vision Motorsports are flying through this field today, I would be concerned about for some of these drivers heading into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Somebody, though, if you're Matthew Hubert, you have to be loving this. Bradley Bradshaw is on absolute fire here. He has driven all the way from the back of the field, and he's about to go for the lead on Carson Miller here as we're closing in on halfway.
Yeah, he's going to take it away, make it look easy as well. How about that move out of Bradley Bradshaw to take the lead here on lap 33 at Richmond? First, Carson Miller's led the most laps so far in that 04 machine. Now down to the 2nd position, but Angel Gutierrez, you talk about moving from the back of the field. He started dead last in this race, and here he is up to 3rd now. So Vision Motorsports definitely finding a lot of speed, and Matthew Hubert's got to love this because that means he's going to get a 3rd car for the Indy 250, which is going to be huge in terms of the Owners' Championship because unlike in the Wawa Cup Series, the hot seat cars don't get points. The Indy 250 cars will get points towards the owner's title here in the Haas IndyCar Series. So, best believe those top 10 teams, those top 10 organizations want to get that 3rd car so they get more of an opportunity to get more points. Is Carson Miller going to cross back over here on lap 35? And great racing up front here at Richmond.
Yeah, this is some great stuff here. We saw a lot of great racing last year in the Wawa Cup Series. I know Logan Williams kind of put a beat down on later in that race, but this track has really come alive in the past few years across the channel. Here we go at it again. It's Bradshaw and Miller swapping the positions around, and the more they do this, the more this is going to allow Gutierrez and maybe Luna Lona and Dylan Matthews to close back in. And I mean, we're definitely seeing, I think there's some tire fall off here today, but you're seeing a lot of drivers have to race the racetrack, but they're still able to make a ton of overtakes here. Field's definitely getting really spread out, but you're seeing drivers, start from the back of the field, fight their way through the field. Still able to make passes here. Just another one of those, good old bangers here on a short track on an afternoon Sunday here that you love to see. And Miller and Bradshaw, Bradley Bradshaw been around this series for a hot minute here. Carson Miller, this is his rookie campaign here, and two guys going at it here, putting on an absolute classic battle here in the first half of the Virginia 100.
This is actually Carson Miller's second season in the IndyCar Series, so he's not a rookie here. He's rookie
bad.
over in the Wall Cup Series, which he has had a lot of good runs. Had a great run last night, as a matter of fact, in that STP Old Dominion 500. So he's kind of rolling off of that momentum he had a few counties over, and here he is taking the lead back away from Bradley Bradshaw. And to your point, Matt, that's bringing in Gutierrez and Luna Lona and Dylan Matthews here. Marcus Glitch battling with John Andrews. And I tell you, this cycle of pit stops is going to be huge because all these guys are still really pretty much all on each other effectively, and you play enough strategy with the bit of tire fall off that we have. If you undercut, you might be able to get an advantage on these guys, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. Here we go, Luna Lona to the inside for third on Gutierrez. She's trying to get her second win of the season as the points leader here, so Luna Lona in a great position to be the points leader going into our next race at Lime Rock. Will be the middle of April when we're there in Connecticut. Always a fun race at Lime Rock Park. I'll never forget the day Chase Harris put that move on Marty Johnson. I'm sure you remember that one, Matt. That was really where the legend of Chase Harris was born in that one season, and can't believe we saw that. And even now, we have ratings in the series. I don't think we're going to see a 5-time winner this season. What an impressive run Chase Harris had a few years ago when he won the championship. But who's going to get it this season? And a race like this is huge because we still have a couple more short ovals on the schedule. Pikes Peak still coming up, a very similar racetrack to this one. We'll also have Milwaukee coming onto the schedule late in the season, so being good on these short ovals may be crucial to getting a championship later on down the road.
Well, we talk about that Chase Harris season as Gutierrez and his teammate are trying to make position swaps here. We talk about that one season, but Bradley Bradshaw, I know he threw the championship. I mean, we kind of threw the championship as a whole 2 years ago, but he was not far off that year from what Chase Harris was pulling. And somebody's going to hit this feels like the way that this series is set up this year with the ratings. I know we went through the first one, the first form with 4 different winners in 4 races here, but I think somebody could rip off a great second half of the season. Not having that weekly structure like we do in Cup and National. This is a little different, and that, I remember once when Eric Monaco did this, back when ratings first came into the channel, and he nailed the absolute heck out of it and was dominant. So I definitely wouldn't count out somebody from having a potentially dominating season here as we start to close into the second half. And I think these 4 up here are really showing strong signs of life, especially Luna Lona. Got to keep an eye out on this 49 here. I think she's easily the championship front runner here at the moment. Chasing down Gutierrez here, closing in on 30 laps to go, and I think you're going to have to start thinking about some strategy here to get a jump on some of these drivers.
Yeah, the window's open now, and of course the tire wear is coming into effect just a little bit. These guys a little bit off the pace from how they started, and there we go.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Your driver, so a little bit earlier than I thought. Thought we were going to be a little bit later. Nicholas Samadillo and Braden Perez coming down the pit lane for their pit stops. I'd imagine it's going to be 4 tires and fuel for all of these drivers, and our race leaders now look at everybody else essentially coming in. And actually jammed these guys out who stayed out an extra lap. So Jay Knapp currently holding on to the lead. So many guys came down that lap. They saw them come down, and they're like, we got to take advantage of it now before we let them get an advantage. There's Braden Perez in the 83. Got to be careful on the merge here. And going to slow down Lewis Bishop, BB Ruiz just a little bit right there. There's Nicholas Samadillo going to get out ahead of Braden Perez. They were the first 2 to come down, and of course Carson Miller in the 04 was the race leader. For the rest of the drivers who have come down the pit lane, Jay Knapp's going to get a bonus point towards the championship, and oh my goodness, they're side by side, and Bradley Bradshaw going to gain the advantage on the 04 off the exit. You see Nicholas Samedeo coming into picture right there. We'll see how well this works out for him. The tires are warmed up on that 33 machine, so we'll see if he can close up to the front. Not entirely sure if he's going to have enough for the win, but Bradley Bradshaw has taken it away. We're going to have 30 laps to go next time by here at Richmond Raceway.
That was a great undercut for Samedeo and Perez. Perez is now pushing into the top 10. I don't think it's going to be enough to get us a third spot here for the Indy 250, but it's a great comeback drive for him if he can get a top 10 out of this here. Carson Miller, that was not a position he could afford to lose here on that set of pit stops here, because we saw as that run went on, I know that he traded places there with Bradshaw, but Bradshaw's car just came to life the more that run went on, and if this trend continues, now Bradshaw has the track position on Miller and Gutierrez. They're now on the hunt, and he can just run with it here. That's not the position I would want to be in if I'm Miller and Gutierrez having to chase him down here. As Glitch, Alford, and Matthews having a great little scrap here. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th positions going at it here. And, yeah, great run for Avery Alford. Great run for a bunch of these guys. Some other guys not having a good day here, but lots of great racing. Great run for Tanner Parton.
Another team that was trying to get to top 10 and such, Atlantis Racing. And I'll be honest with y'all, I have no idea how it's going to play out. Andrew Miller right now at the back of the field in the 93 machine. Not exactly the position that he wants to be in. Not a good run for Troxel or Lewis Bishop. Neither of the GRT Team Williams cars running well. Logan Williams gained a little bit from that, but he's still 19th. However, his teammate Braden Perez up to 8th right now. So that pit strategy worked out well. We'll see. That one lap should not make too much of a difference on such a short track as this. So we'll see if that ends up being a concern for Samedeo and Perez and their attempts to retain their positions. But right now, Bradley Bradshaw's got a half-second lead, one of the biggest leads we've actually seen all day long here in this race. And Bradshaw looking to get his first win in this series in, I don't remember, because Bradshaw wasn't a driver when I called this series, I don't think. Back in 2023. Am I wrong about that? I can't remember.
Bradshaw's, I think he ran in 25, but I know he ran 2024. Him and Luna Lona were teammates. Oh, that's not where you... you can't do that.
That might be a yellow.
There. Oh,
Aaron Abel, I think a tire down, and the caution is out here at Richmond Raceway.
Oh, that's going to change the race.
Would you like to apologize now, Matt?
Aaron, I'm sorry, bro. I got nothing for you.
Tough break there for Aaron Abel, and I'm assuming a tire down on the 18 machine. That will give the lead over. They're actually waiting for the pace car. Give the lead over to Bradley Bradshaw. Will still be the race leader, but that is not what he wanted to see. That's going to give Carson Miller, Gutierrez, going to give Lona, Samedeo, a lot of these guys an opportunity at this race win. This could shake things up quite a bit here. So let's go ahead and replay what happened real quick to Aaron Abel. Then get back to racing here in the Smithfield, Virginia 100-kilometer race from the Richmond Raceway. And you see Aaron Abel here in the 18. Tire going down. Going to bring out our first caution of the day here. About 60 laps into this event. Tough break for Aaron Abel, and they had just put that tire on as well because we had gotten through the green flag cycle of pit stops and something on the miss on the 18 machine. Stopping on the racetrack and to bring out the yellow flag. Been a clean season for these guys. The only 2 yellow flags we've had have essentially been because of mechanical failures. Thankfully, no one got into them there, and we're going to have Bradley Bradshaw up front in the 8 on this restart here in the Smithfield, Virginia 100K. Let's see what he does here from the Richmond Raceway. And we're back here at the Richmond Raceway. Going to be under 20 laps to go here in the Smithfield, Virginia 100-kilometer race. And this got very interesting because now with this restart, everyone bunched right back up. A huge opportunity for a lot of these drivers to maybe steal this win away from the dominant guys of the race, like Bradley Bradshaw, like Carson Miller. They're 1-2 right now. Angel Gutierrez is 3rd. Luna Luna, looking for her second win of the season, is fourth. Nicholas Ambios had a solid day there for Dutch Atlantis Racing. This is a team trying to jump their way top 10 in the owner's standings for a third ride in the Indy 250. And Avery Alford, Marcus Glitch, Braden Perez, Dylan Matthews, and Tanner Pardon rounding out the top 10. Everybody's on the lead lap except for Aaron Abel, 2 laps down. They got the tire repaired. He's back on the racetrack, but unless a lot of guys get knocked out from a wreck, he's probably going to finish there, 2 laps down in the 26th position. And here we go. Carson Miller's got a nose to the inside for the race lead, and he's taking advantage of that opportunity, but unable to hold it going into turn 3.
Yeah, he tried to get the nose to the inside of Bradshaw there. He's going to try it again. Doesn't have enough of a run just yet. Bologna's going to get by Gutierrez up to the 3rd position. Maybe a door for San Medeo. I see Alford got by Glitch there. So he's moving his way through the field as Matthews and Perez are lined up back there. There's going to be a ton of spots up for grabs for some of these guys in the back of the pack trying to get their teams a 3rd car for the Indy 250. But up front, it's Bradshaw holding steady here. Looking to, I think this would be a pretty sizable winless streak if he would be snapping here if he could get this win here today. And he's going to have to fight his way to earn it here. And here comes Alford to the inside of San Medeo, and that's not what Dutch Atlantis wants to see right now.
Well, they got one on the outside, but one back on the inside. There goes Tanner Pardon making a move on Dylan Matthews. A lot of movement up front right there. Top 4 pretty much all in their respective positions, and Bradshaw still holding on to the race lead. So that 8 machine looking very quick today. And this whole team, Vision Motorsports, looking very quick as well. And I'm not sure how much of this is going to translate to Indianapolis, 2 very different track types. But this is what we're going to see going into Indianapolis. Watch out for a defending, a past Indy 250 champion of Angel Gutierrez, and a runner-up in the race to maybe make some hay in that one. I'm looking forward to Indy 250 week. Looking forward to single car qualifying with this ratings format. Going to be a lot of fun. How about Avery Alford? Another position for him. To the inside of Angel Gutierrez. And that is going to be for the 5th position right there. No, sorry, for the 4th position there for Alford. And a great run for Harrisville Motorsports as both of their drivers are now top 5. As you got Marcus Glitch also making a move. It is 11 laps to go here in the Smithfield Virginia 100K. Bradshaw still out front in the 8 machine.
Both of Harrisville's boys making their way, making hay through the field, and I think they're going to be challengers as the season goes on, and which is good to see out of both of them there. Glitch having a good attempt at his season here in the National Series. Alfred's been struggling in Cup, but good to see him having a good run here. Gutierrez's car just is not fired off on this restart. He's gone backwards. John Andrews is coming to the inside of him now as these BKI cars continue to work their way through the front. And you're definitely, I will say, BKI and Vision Motorsports look really, really strong here today as far as team pairings go, which, like I said, how much of that translate, we don't really know. Those hair gel cars look really sleeper here. They've been running together all race, and the Dutch Atlantis cars have found themselves, you know, once again, just like they did Friday or Thursday night in the National Series, finding themselves battling each other again here. So a lot of interesting teammates. Lots of teammate pairings are really strong here, which is always a good sign that some teams working together here. But just a handful of laps to go here now, and Bradley Bradshaw looking to get back to victory lane, but
Carson Miller is starting to close back in. On this 8 machine. Oh, look at the way he's ripping that corner. He's going to have a shot right here. Got to be careful not to make a mistake when trying to make the pass and lose all that time, because time is running out. But Carson Miller's got a huge run there. Will he dive it in turn 1? Not quite yet. Bradshaw's really leaving the door open for him, though. Marcus Glitch up to the gearbox of Luna Luna. That is for 3rd. And Carson Miller going to do all he can. It's only 4 laps to go here at Richmond for Bradley Bradshaw and Vision Motorsports, but the Ronnie Racing trying to get another owner's win. With Carson Miller in the 04, he's going to have another chance out of here. He's still there, but it's going to be 3 laps to go next time by.
Yeah, 3 laps to go, under 3 miles for Bradley Bradshaw, but I think Carson Miller's going to throw everything, and if they were to tangle, if they were to tangle, I mean, the battle for third could be who ends up winning if, you know, these two come together. I mean, we saw Wawa National Thursday night. You can definitely see some tangling going on up front. So Miller's going to try and send it down in there. 2 laps to go.
Will he be able to get close enough to make a pass at the end of this race? He's right there in the gearbox. The closest he's been so far. Bradshaw a little wide off the corner, getting a good run though. And the white flag is out for Bradley Bradshaw here at Richmond. Found some grip on that outside lane. Carson Miller may have lost his opportunity. Going to try to rip it on the inside again, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. And Bradley Bradshaw, Vision Motorsports, and Matthew Hubert going to get a race victory as an owner here at the Richmond Raceway in the Smithfield, Virginia 100-kilometer race. All the way back from the 21st starting position here today, Bradley Bradshaw dominates it here at Richmond Raceway.
Yeah, that was a stellar performance. You know, from a guy who's had an okay season. Nothing great, nothing special. He's got a top 5 on the year, but now he's got a win. He came into the race only 63 back of Lunalona. Obviously, Lunalona finished 4th, but IndyCar points format does work in his favor that a win and you're the title contender getting 4th, you can kind of chunk your way into the fight here. And, you know, the second half of the season, or this next couple runs of the season here, have more ovals, and I think you saw Vision Motorsports really has some strong oval pace. I know Gutierrez kind of struggled there towards the end of the race, but let's not forget he also drove through the field as well. I think he started last. Found his way up into the top 5 for most of the second half of the race. Fell out at the end of it there. But a great run for him. A great run for Glitch and Alford. They might have a shot with how bad Thomas Troxel and Lewis Bishop were today. No, they're too far back to do that. But they're going to have a huge jump in the constructors probably. So, great race here, though. Super clean. I genuinely thought we were going to maybe see some, you know, a little bit of tango and whatnot here. But the boys and girls kept it really clean today. And I think it's a good sign to come here for as the second leg of the season kicks off here.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a lot of fun there, Chris. This is our last oval race until the Indianapolis 250, so we'll have a couple more road courses, and then that will be the run to the Indianapolis 250, and it's going to be a lot of fun seeing how that all ends up shaking out. We're going to show you guys the owners at the end of the video here, of course, like we normally do, but I'm excited for it. We're going to have a lot of fun rolling into this big race here coming up in just a few weeks, less than 2 months from now. And Bradley Bradshaw just showed a lot of strength in this race to possibly translate over into a good run in the Indy 250. We'll have to see if he can do it. He's always been successful at the Indy 250. Now with the ratings in play, maybe he'll be even more successful. We'll have to see how that ends up shaking out. Carson Miller, Marcus Glitch, Lunalona, and Avery Alford all in the top 5 right there. Great run for Hairgel Motorsports in this race. Great run for Carson Miller. Lona's still going to be the points leader. Carson Miller's going to move up in the championship standings. He's been very consistent this season in that 04 machine for Durrani. And he's another guy to watch out for in the Indy 250 as well. Very excited to see what he can do. Bruno Diacomo keeps the top 10 streak alive. He is going to finish 7th. That is 5 top 10s in 5 races for Diacomo, which is working out a lot better for him over here than it is over in the Wall Cup Series right now. So congratulations to him on that. Another good run for John Andrews. Good days for Dylan Matthews and Nicholas Samadio. Samadio didn't quite have the car that he would have hoped. Tanner Parton, though, with a 6th place run. I'm thinking that the Dutch Atlantis guys might have gotten the top 10 runs, so we'll have to see how that ends up shaking out. But hey, thank you all so much for watching here on a Saturday afternoon for the IndyCar Series. We'll be back on a Saturday afternoon, April 18th, I think. I think that's the date of the race at Lime Rock Park. That'll be noon Eastern Time on April 18th. Should be a lot of fun there for our 6th race of the season. And then it's on to Indy, the Indy Road Course and the Indy 250 after that. So we're excited to see how the rest of the season plays out. Of course, what you're going to see most in April, a lot of Pro Series races. And Matt, we've got a very special one coming up on Wednesday, the 11th anniversary special. You're going to be in the booth with Nathan for that. And going to feature a lot of the old-timers, guys who were in the very first race and the first and second seasons of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series from back in the day. So going to be a lot of fun seeing 33 cars at Armory Digital as we celebrate 11 years of the first race run on AEG the channel. Huge congratulations to Bradley Bradshaw for getting him the race victory, and a huge thanks to Matt Chuck for joining me here tonight for this Virginia 100K. We'll see you guys next time from Lime Rock Park for the United Rentals Grand Prix of Lime Rock for the 6th race of the season here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Here are the point standings after 5 races in the teams, and of course in the drivers. In the top 10 teams, they'll all be invited to run a 3rd car for the Indianapolis 250 here in 2026. Thank you all so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.